Hello everyone and welcome to my newest gameplay. This time I'm going to try to complete the Advan Racing mode of the game Advan Racing, but first, well, I'm gonna do this introductory episode to show you the list of cars and list of tracks of this game, and yeah, basically, show you around. We're gonna play in hard. Music's on. Background music is gonna be next to nothing. Sounds next to the top. And yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, this is basically, By the way, this game uses the view system of games like Formula 1, the 1995 one, where you have, two buttons to change view, which is kinda weird, but, it kinda makes sense because, there's one to approach, and there's one to go back. So yeah, the game is divided in 8 classes of cars. The cars in these six classes are basically the same. Class 3 here is class 3 here, class 2 here is class 2 here, and class 1 is class 1. To let you, more or less understand, class 3 are the slowest road-going, street legal vehicles. Class 2 are a bit faster, and class 1, well, are the top cars, like, for example, a Nissan Skyline, And then there's the touring cars and the Japanese Grand Touring Championship, even though, they do not use that name. So yeah, we are gonna, show you the different class 3 cars, and I'll show you also the starter car. There's this Celica front wheel drive, Toyota MRS with the slower engine, only 180 horsepower, Toyota Corona, Toyota Levin, I guess it's some kind of Corolla in some market. The Nissan Primera, Nissan S14, the Q1, not the K1, so it's the slower one, Nissan Pulsar, Honda Accord SIR, Honda Prelude, Honda Integra Type R, although I think it's a bit too slow for being a Type R, but yeah, I guess so. The Honda Civic AK9 and the Honda Civic AG6. This is a starter car, by the way. The car we're going to start, we are forced to use at the start of the career mode. It's this one. Then there's a Mitsubishi FTO Grand Prix, the Mazda MX-5, but it's not a cabrio in this game. It's the coupe. The BMW 318 and the Nissan S13. Also the slower one, the Q. Class 2. We have the Nissan 300 ZX, 2+2 or something like that, I don't remember the exact name. Nissan Skyline R33 GTS, so it's not the 4-wheel drive car. Nissan S14, this time the proper one, K. Nissan S13, this time the proper one, K as well. The Toyota Supra SZ, so it's the slower Supra. Toyota Chaser, that basically shares pretty much the exact same engine. I mean, it's very similar to the engine of the Supra. Toyota Celica GT4 ST205, 205, and the Toyota MRS, Turbo, I think, or something like that. The proper Toyota MRS. Mazda RX-7 FC Infinity, Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 4, Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 3. The Subaru Impreza VRX, for example, these three cars are basically, some of the fastest cars in this class. Alfa Romeo GTV, the BMW M3 Coupe, the Porsche Boxster with a fairly shitty engine. I think that in real life this car had a bit more horsepower, whatever. And the Nissan Skyline R32, GTS. So we can see quite some variety of cars. Also, not only cars from Japan, although vast majority of cars are from Japan. Nissan Skyline R33 GTR, Nissan Skyline R32 GTR, Nissan 300 ZX twin turbo. This time, yeah, this is the twin turbo. Toyota Supra, this time with a proper engine. and the Toyota Chaser with the Supra engine. So, you know, also fairly quick car. Porsche Carrera 911, you know, chassis or, you know, model name 993. Ferrari 355, one of the fastest cars in the game. Chevrolet Corvette, I think it's the C5R. Well, it's the C5, but I think it's the basic one. Yeah, it's not even the Z06. Dodge Viper GTS, very iconic car. Chevrolet Camaro Z28. Ford Mustang Cobra. Mitsubishi GTO, this time with the proper engine. Oh, sorry, no, fuck. I just got confused the FTO with the GTO. G-Genie. The Honda NSX. Mazda RX-7 FD chassis. The newer Toyota Carrera back then. And the Lambo Diablo, which is basically, you know, one of the fastest cars of the game together with the Viper. The Viper is considered very, very quick in this game, even though the handling is not so good. Okay, and well, for example, let's see, you know, some of the, you know, how they are tuned. You know, they add wings and you know, wings, spoilers, and all that, and stickers. You know, the cars change a bit. You know, for example, here there's a very mighty wing on the S14. S13 has a low wing. The Toyota Supra, you know, one hell of a wing. Toyota Chaser basically looks like a touring car. Toyota Celica, you know, wing and 384 horsepower. You know, Toyota Marez. I mean, you can see that there's actually some change. This change, you know, you cannot buy TC cars. What you can do is get an NC car, upgrade everything, you know, every single part. I think there are 8 parts possible, and you know, it's just that. And then you become a TC car, you know, they add the wing and the spoiler and all that. Here we have, you know, cars from the Japanese Touring Car Championship, like this Toyota Chaser, sponsored by Advan. This Toyota Corona, sponsored by Advan. Toyota Chaser, this time sponsored by Denso. Toyota Chaser, this time by ESO. Toyota Chaser, this time sponsored by Fendt. Toyota Corona, this time sponsored by Wetsport. They now appear in, you know, in GT300, sponsoring, I think it's a Toyota or a Lexus, I'm not entirely sure. Toyota Corona, sponsored by Docomo. Toyota Corona, sponsored by Razor. Nissan Primera, sponsored by Calsonic. Yeah, this is a Primera, but the problem is that the name is not Primera for some reason. But yeah, it's Toyota Primera, Nissan Primera, sponsored by Shanabi. Honda Accord, sponsored by Pia. Honda Accord, sponsored by Jax. Honda Accord, sponsored by Castrol. Honda Accord, sponsored by Gathers. Honda Accord, sponsored by Cool and with the #1 plate. And BMW 318, sponsored by Endless. And finally, the GT, you know, the Japanese Grand Touring Championship cars. Like this Dodge Viper, sponsored by Advan. Porsche 911 GT2, sponsored by Advan. Toyota Supra, sponsored by Castrol. Toyota Denso, sponsored by, Toyota Supra, sponsored by Denso. Toyota Supra, sponsored by Powercraft. Nissan Skyline, sponsored by Calsonic. Nissan Skyline, sponsored by Sexel. Nissan Skyline, sponsored by Unisex. Or something like that, I don't remember. Honda NSX, sponsored by Raybrick. This time, yeah, they say Ray, but you know, Honda NSX, sponsored by, obviously, Arta. The J-Log Diablo, Lamborghini Diablo. This is a Nissan Silvia. Porsche 911 for the GT300 class, sponsored by Tyson. Another, you know, Porsche 911. Ferrari 355. Mazda RX-7 from RE-Amemiya. Toyota MRS, don't know the... Yeah, those are all the cars. As you can see, there are quite a lot. and it's basically 15 cards per class plus the card that the player owns. So you know, there's always a repeated card. Oh, by the way, I missed something. You know, I want to show you the tracks. There are 8 of them, or 7.5, as I want to say. We have Tokagi, fairly long track, fairly boring. Highland Raceway, quite hilly, kinda entertaining to be honest. It's not that boring of a track. Sugo, fairly well-known track, turns to World Superbikes Championship. Twin Ring Motegi, you know, very well-known thanks to MotoGP. Fuji from the 90s, because you know this is before the F1, F1 modifications. Suzuka Circuit, and the Suzuka Shore, which is the half track I was mentioning, and then Mine. So you know the tracks, you know, just 7 Japanese tracks plus you know Suzuka Shore, because you know Suzuka Shore is well known for some reason. And that's it. Next up, it's gonna be time for me to wait. Have I? Yeah, I think yeah. I was like, I don't think I'm starting a championship. So yeah, see you next time. This time is going to be for the start of the Advan Racing mode. Bye bye.